Here's the thing. Websites that are well designed and planned can have up to 200% more conversions than a poorly planned website. Meaning, if you're thinking you can just throw a website together, well, you can, but should you? I've heard it all before. Who needs a developer when I can just use Wix or Squarespace or WordPress or any drag and drop builder and make one myself? Or AI can build me a website, why would I hire anyone? Or even, why are web developers so expensive if anyone can build a website? The reality is, a really good website with a solid strategy is worth its weight in gold. If you have all the other pieces of the puzzle, meaning marketing, a solid business plan, and offers ready to go, a good, well-planned website can bring you a huge, long-lasting return on your investment. So yes, website developers and agencies are expensive. It's because there is so much that goes into a conversion-ready website beyond the drag and drop. In this video, you're gonna learn all the steps it takes to build a website, but not just any old website. We're gonna set you up with the best way to make your small business website. In case you don't know me, I'm Nikki, your website buddy. I work with small business owners, creatives, and organizations to build strategic websites that work for you, so you don't have to keep working harder. I not only do one-on-one builds, edits, and consulting, but I also lead workshops, give talks, and I'm also the proud creator of Vision to Launch, a course for folks who want to take the reins on their website and build one that sells, even when they're away. I'm in your corner with expert support, real empathy, and a commitment to helping you show up with confidence and clarity online. So if that's what you're looking for, I invite you to follow along. Does any of this sound like you? I don't want to spend all my time working on my website. I just need to figure out the content before I can really get started. Everything's a placeholder for now, but I'll figure it out at some point. I want something functional, easy to use, pleasing to the eye, and catchy. I want a beautiful website with a smooth user interface that has optimized SEO. I want a user-friendly experience for my website visitors and my clients, and it's got to have good infrastructure. If any of that sounds like you, don't worry, I've got your back. I'm going to walk you through the best way to create and design a website for your small business. One that speaks to your dreamiest of dream clients and gets them to become paying customers. Stick with me because after this, you won't need any other tutorials. By the way, everything we're covering here is what I go through and more with my students in Vision to Launch. These students are learning to build their websites from vision to launch and beyond, because we're talking about how to maintain and upgrade your website as time goes on. So if you watch this video and you want more and you want some guidance on building this website yourself, we'd love to have you join us. All right, let's dive in. First off, don't fly by the seat of your pants. I'm gonna go through why you need a website strategy. Okay, story time. How hard can it be? This is what I said when I first decided to work for myself. I had spent years teaching myself a highly profitable skill, coding, and I was more personable and caring than those tech bros I had worked with. After deciding to start my own business, I realized I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I was working 50 hours a week for myself with no plan. I had no clients. Something had to change. The only clients I had at that point were friends or friends of friends who were paying me way below what I was worth. That's when I realized I actually don't know anything about how to start a business. So I went out to look for coaches and mentors who were going to guide me in the right direction. This was definitely the Dunning-Kruger effect, which I had also experienced hard when I first started learning how to code. The Dunning-Kruger effect is when people who don't know much about a certain subject tend to overestimate how much of it they actually know and how easy it might be. It's the whole, that's all it takes, I could do that, and people actually believe they can do that because they've never tried it before. I'm sure we've all done this before, right? At the same time, the people who are actually competent in that skill may underestimate their abilities. It's kind of like imposter syndrome, right? Almost all of my clients are people who have had this experience. They start building a website thinking, how hard can it be? I could just build my own website. And shortly after that, they realize it's either causing them immense frustration, they don't know what they're doing wrong or how to fix it, or it was a bigger task than expected, and now they fear that they have to tear it all down and start from scratch. But they really don't want to. They put in tons of work. Here's a quote I like that I think fits well here. "The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it's the illusion of knowledge," by Daniel Borstein. It's really painful to realize that you put in so much work, but you actually weren't going down the right path. That's why I'm here to set you up for success. Many of my Vision to Launch students came to me because they knew they needed a website for their business and they wanted to take on that task as something that they were going to do for their business. Some of them had started to build a website without realizing how hard it was going to be. Some of them already knew it would be hard and wanted to do it the right way with some guidance. So you might be looking at your computer thinking, I could build a website like that. How hard could it be? Well, my friend, it's easy to drag and drop, but there's so much more to it if you want to build a website that's going to bring you business. All right, another question I get asked all the time is, how long does it take to build a website? It can't take that long. Now that you know why you should do things this way, you might realize that building a website in the best way is a big task, one that can't efficiently and effectively be completed over the course of a weekend. So how long does it take to build a website then? Well, it's hard to say because every website has a different number of pages, a different amount of complexity, and a different amount of prep work that needs to be done. It can take anywhere from a month to 6 months to even longer, but on average, it'll probably take about 10 to 14 weeks. Now, my business, Nixter.tech Website Services, we've been able to streamline our processes and we can get a website done in roughly 4 to 5 weeks. But it takes longer if our client hasn't done the prep work, doesn't know what their business is, doesn't know their target audience or their brand, etc. For the rest of this video, I'm going to walk you through the process that we use when we work with our website clients. We've found that this is the best way to build a website for a small business, and it sets people up for success in the long run. So number one, we start with the foundations: your business, your brand, your target audience. Before you pick a website builder or a template, you need to know your brand. Your brand isn't just fonts and colors you like or that logo you threw together in Canva. It's also how you talk to people, how you present yourself, and what your business stands for. If you've worked with a brand designer, you probably already have a brand kit, which is amazing. That means you've already got all of this in a neat and tidy package. Look at you ahead of the game. It's also important to know what your target audience wants and needs and which of those can you provide. A lot of people recommend doing a client avatar exercise, but I don't. For this, I actually recommend going out there and asking people in your target demographic, people that could possibly be your dream clients, what it is that they would want, that they would need, what they've tried, what would help solve their problems, etc. This is going to help you with your messaging and your website copy. Without it, you're writing copy based on clients that you made up in your head. By the way, new businesses, it may not actually be the best time for you to start a website. If you're just starting out, it's likely that you don't have enough information to build a solid website yet, nor do you need one. That's right, I said it. Instead, check out our new business website roadmap. It's going to tell you exactly what you should be doing at each stage of your business. All right, story time. In 2024, I was approached by a business who was struggling to get new customers from their e-commerce website. They had repeat customers who absolutely loved their products, but they were struggling to gain new customers. My team and I quickly realized that their messaging was not portraying the level of quality of their products, and they were completely ignoring two key groups of people who would absolutely love their products. Bottom line, their messaging was off. Because of this disconnect, the client really struggled to bring in new customers. Anyone they were able to grab stayed for the long haul, but getting them to put down their credit card for the first time was a real challenge. So we got to work creating new messaging, redesigning their website, and providing guidelines on updated imagery for their photographers. We created a new user journey for these new groups that they weren't talking to before, and we made sure that all the information for their business and their products was displayed in a way that was going to be better received by their website visitors, making them want to keep clicking or keep scrolling, or to even purchase. In October of last year, they launched their new website with an advent calendar, and that advent calendar sold out by mid-November. Since the launch of their new site, they have consistently been making $20,000 a month more than they were making with their previous website. So this should show you how important it is to know your brand, to know your target audience, to know who actually wants your services, and how to portray your products or services in a way that's going to get people to buy and get people to trust you. All right, number 2 is going to be to plan your website. So we're talking blueprints, site maps, templates, all that stuff. Once you know your brand, your messaging, and what you're going to offer based on what people want or need, it's then time to start planning your website. Not building, but planning. Just like any successful, long-lasting project, we're going to start with the foundations. So many of the people who have become clients of mine have come to me because they spent months DIYing their own website, only to realize their websites were confusing not only to potential customers, but also to themselves. Building a website with no real foundations can really hurt your business. It frustrates potential customers and it makes you look unprofessional. Most of the clients I mentioned before found that people were emailing them, asking them for information that was on their website because they couldn't find that information on the website. It was difficult to navigate and they got lost. I came in, took a look at what they had, rebuilt some foundations, created a solid user journey, and restructured their websites. Now they get less emails asking questions and their website answers a lot of those questions for them so they can spend more of their time doing other things. All that being said, the best way to start a website for your business is to start with solid foundations. So before you rush off to go find a template that you really want to use, there's a few things we have to do first. First, you're going to need to figure out a user journey for your target audience. How are you going to guide them to where you want them to go? How are you going to organize all the information on your website? Also, where do you want them to go? What is the goal for each page of your website and what should a potential client do on each page? You don't want them to get lost on your website and as a result become too frustrated to work with you. So it's your job to guide them. Another thing to think about as we're setting up the foundations is what kind of software are you going to use for your business and do you need to set up with your website? Do you want people to be able to book appointments with you? Do you want them to be able to buy something? Should they be able to sign up for a class or something else? Figure out what you want them to do, then figure out what software you need to use for your website. But don't stress out too much about this. You likely already use something that will work and you can upgrade when it's time. There's one more thing we need to do before you can pick a template and have some fun with this, and that is that we need to figure out which of all these website builders is the best one for you. This is a huge step and people skip it a lot. They often go with the website builder they hear about the most or the ones that their colleagues and their friends are using. But this is a huge step. You don't want to skip it. I get clients all the time who spend months building a website on one platform only to realize that they need to be on this other platform to actually do what they want to do with their website. And here's the thing, websites don't transfer from platform to platform. So if this happens to you, you got to start over. So make sure you know which platform is best for you before you dive in. Now, I've got a quiz for you if you want to take that quiz, and I have another video where I walk through all the platforms based on my experiences building for my clients. I'm not paid by any of these website builders, so it's just my opinions and my experience. I'll tell you what I like, what I don't like, which type of business owner would do better on which website builder. But if you want to skip that, take the quiz. I'll link it above and down below. Back to templates. It's finally time to go look for templates and have some fun. You know which website builder you're going to be using. You have your foundation set. You know your user journey. When you're looking for templates, the thing that you're looking for is you're looking for good bones, right? The fonts, the colors, the imagery, that's all going to change based on your brand, as will the structure of that template. Why, you may ask? Because templates are built to be aesthetically pleasing. They are not built with your business goals or your website goals in mind. They aren't built for your target audience, for your business, for your brand. So the best thing to do is take a template and reorganize things to make it work for you. All right, number 3, create and gather your assets. If you've already had branding photography done, or maybe you have headshots or video footage of you working, you can totally use that for your website. You probably should. Unless it's super off-brand, you probably should. You need imagery that speaks to your target audience, shows off what you can do, and speaks to your brand. Be wary of stock photos. Use them sparingly. People can tell when a website is built using mainly stock photos. At this point, if you haven't already done so, you're also going to write your website copy. The biggest thing I will say here is that your website copy needs to speak to your target audience. What do they need to hear to be able to trust you and then go on to work with you? A lot of people use AI for this type of stuff, but just know that it goes a little deeper than just asking ChatGPT what to say. There are so many good guides out there about how to write good website copy, and I've also got a video on just that and the process that I go through with my clients. So if you want to check that out, there's a link here and there'll be one down in the description too. I've also got copy templates for sale in my shop. So if you want to use the exact template that my students use and that I use for my clients, go ahead and grab that. At this stage, you also need to create or gather any lead magnets or funnels that you've created and get them set up. Get ready to connect them to your website. You should have figured out where they're all going to be going and where they're all going to connect when you figured out the user journey of your website. If not, stop, go back and do that. Oh, and if you haven't yet, go ahead and buy your domain name. I'm not being paid to say this or anything like that. I don't have an affiliate link, but my go-to is namecheap.com. I moved over to them a few years ago. I use them for my clients. Their prices are reasonable. Their customer service is good. That's where I go. But there are plenty of other places out there. All right, number 4, time to build, test, launch, and revise. Finally, this is where you're going to actually start building your website. See how much work you did before you got to this stage. See how much effort went into the planning process. This is what they don't teach in other tutorials, and it really frustrates me. If you want to create a website for your business and do it the right way so that it's a tool and not a burden, you need to do a lot of upfront prep work. So go get your website builder set up. Remember, there's that quiz down below. Get your domain name connected, install your template, and you can start to build. Don't forget to build for mobile too. Now, I've made tutorials for most of the main website builders out there. This is going to help you get started, install, set up, get your brand set up, everything like that. So I will link those down below. Figure out which website builder you're going to use, and then you can get started with my start guide for that specific builder. As you're building, make sure that everything is in working order. I'm going to link a video here and down below of all the common mistakes I see all the time on websites, so you can double check, triple check that you did not do these mistakes on your website. Also, this is a great time to use our website optimization and launch checklist. I'll link that up here and below as well. Make sure you go through this checklist before you launch, and then you can do it again afterwards if you need to refine some things. Finally, you're going to want to test things. Test them everywhere. Ask your friends and family who have different operating systems than you. Mac versus PC, Android versus iPhone. Ask them to look at your website and make sure that nothing looks out of place or funky. Click all the links, check all the images, make sure none of them are broken, and you can also optimize your website for faster load times. Once you launch, you'll need to continually keep up with your website, right? A website is a live thing. It's not like a PowerPoint presentation, and it needs to be updated and rethought at times. But if you went through all these steps in this video, you are way ahead of the game. That was a lot. If you made it this far, props to you. All right, to sum it up, you've learned the best way to start a website for your business, why you need to create a plan and foundations, how to gather and organize all the pieces of the puzzle that is your business, your brand, your offers, what your target audience wants, etc. How to lay out the foundations of your website, why you need to pick the right website builder instead of the one your friend told you to use, and what to do before and after launch to make sure that your website is a success. That was a lot. But as long as you have some guidance, you can build a website like professionals do and update it as time goes on. Your website can convert dream clients and make them trust you. And you can build it yourself. If you want to dive even deeper into all of this, deeper into all the steps we went through, and have my personal guidance with you as you're building your website, I invite you to join our flagship course, From Vision to Launch. We go through each of these steps and a bit more, but in way more detail. You'll have videos and worksheets to break everything down into easy, digestible steps, and then you'll use them to build a website that you're going to be in charge of. So if you want to skip the months of tinkering and the thousands of dollars you're probably going to spend on developers down the line, this is your chance to take the reins and learn how to be in charge of your own website. Now you know the best way to create a website for your small business, but what about how to refine it as time goes on? Check out this next video. I'll walk you through exactly how to figure out what needs to be updated or changed on your website to get people to that goalpost of actually interacting with you and becoming a client or a customer. All right, good luck. I'll see you in the next one.